Dear guests, dear speakers, Her Excellency, first of all, our deepest excuse for the technical problems, difficulties that we have due to the Zoom technical issues. Welcome to today's webinar, Slovenian Champions in Sports and Slovenian Champions in Sustainable Innovation, organized by the Embassy of Slovenia in Tokyo and Spirit Invest Slovenia. The event is being recorded for the interpretation to English or Japanese language. It is important to connect through the application and select the language at the bottom of the screen on the icon interpretation. So this event is one of the many that call for enhancing cooperation between Japan and Slovenia in different fields: business, politics, sports, and culture. And at this moment, the most important event which the whole world is focusing on, the Olympic Games in Tokyo, shows once more that both countries, Slovenia and Japan, produce extraordinary athletes, and we all cheer strongly for all our champions and their teams. Why a nation of 2 million can be so successful in sport in general? So the sport is very important for Slovenians as well as practicing and in supporting national athletes. We are a very small country, but we offer huge variety of indoor and outdoor activities and a well-developed sporting infrastructure. Last but not least, we can say that entrepreneurship in Slovenia is also a national sport. So today we will hear to one of the best Slovenian high-tech companies and represent them and to show them opportunity to network with them. Right now, I would like to invite the director of Spirit Slovenia, Dr. Tomaž Kostanjevec, for introductory speech.
Yay. Thank you very much. I'm deeply sorry for a little delay. So anyhow, we are together. Dear Ambassador, Ms. Polak Petric, dear Mr. Cerar, Ms. Gambret, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, former entrepreneurs. It is my great honor for me to welcome you at this online event, which is organized by the Embassies of Slovenia in Tokyo and Spirit Slovenia Public Agency in Slovenia. We have received kind support from the Japan Institute for Overseas Investment, the Japan External Trade Organization, and the Japan-Slovenia Business Council. The Olympic Games are, despite all the obstacles, an event of great importance, and also an opportunity to present, with the help of great Slovenian athletes, the Slovenian economy and business environment to the Japanese business community outside the sport venues. Slovenian athletes, with their great achievements, never cease to amaze us. And the same could be said of Slovenian innovative and export-driven economy and companies. Slovenian companies can offer high-tech solutions in many fields: clean energy, advanced materials, mobility, life sciences, artificial intelligence, logistics, and robotics. Cooperation between Slovenian and Japanese economy could offer advanced solutions for the implementation of Society 5.0 and strengthen productivity, sustainability, and resilience of our economies. The Olympic Games of Tokyo 2020 have shown once more that Slovenia has top athletes, and top-notch are also Slovenian companies developing technical innovation, prioritizing the responsibility for future generation. Competitive and scalable green solutions like renewable energy, production, smart energy, management, and advanced materials will contribute significantly to a world fully powered by green energy and zero carbon society. Today, we are hosting Slovenia high-tech companies with innovative and green solutions. Our agency, Spirit Slovenia, a Slovenian government single point of contact for potential investors and international companies, is here to help you establish contact between Slovenian and Japanese partners. So please do not hesitate to contact us. The Spirit Slovenia team is here to help you to grow your business. Welcome to the webinar, Champions in Sport, Champions in Sustainable Innovation. I wish you an informative experience and thank you for great Olympic Games.
Mr. Kostanjevec, thank you for this introductory speech. And now we have a pleasure to listen to two stories of great Slovenian sportsmen from different generations. So the first presentation will be held by Mr. Miroslav Cerar, Slovene gymnast and lawyer, two-time Olympic gold winner, medal winner in 1964 in Tokyo and 1968 in Mexico City. The second presentation will be by Miss Janja Garnbret, a sport climber, winner of 8 World Cup discipline titles and 6 World Championships. Right now, so at 10 our time, Mrs. Garnbret is climbing, and so our hearts are with her. Unfortunately, none of them can be with us today, so we will have the pleasure to hear both presentations.
Dear Ambassador, Dr. Polak Petric, dear Director Kostanjevec, dear Janja, dear business representatives, dear Japanese friends. I'm honored to be addressing you today at the event which connects sport to business. This is not an ordinary event for me. This is the event organized during the Tokyo Olympic Games, so dear to my heart. In 1964, I have stood on the podium in this wonderful city and received a golden medal in bomber horse and a bronze medal in horizontal bar in that year. I will always cherish Tokyo in my memories, and I always like to come back and visit this city where I feel like being at home. I have just returned from Tokyo Olympic Games, where I participated at the head of Slovenian delegation and was supporting Slovenian athletes in their effort to achieve the best results. I'm also happy that around 54 Slovenian athletes are participating at these Olympics, and I'm also very proud of their successes and their team spirit, fascinating fans in Slovenia and around the globe. Japan has demonstrated resilience and determination on many occasions. I have experienced that during the Olympic Games in 1964 and in this year. And 2019, I have visited Fukushima and attended the opening of Village Sports Center, from where the Olympic torch started its long path. As a symbol of reconstruction after the devastating tsunami and earthquake 10 years ago. I believe Slovenians and Japanese have in common the strong will, determination to overcome difficult times and obstacles. And also, love for sports is another similarity between our countries. I'm very happy to show and to see how cooperation between Slovenia and Japan is growing by each year. But also that there are many potentials which can be still explored. We both, Slovenia and Japan, have champions in sport, and we have also champions in business. Both sports and business bring people together and build lasting partnerships and friendships. I hope today's event will contribute to that many Slovenians and Japanese will become friends for life.
Hi, I'm Janja Ganovic. I'm 22 years old and I'm a climber. I started climbing when I was 6 years old in my hometown in Slovenien. I started competing at a World Cup level in 2015. And since then I'm a 6 times world champion and now I'm an Olympic athlete. Slovenia is a very small country and it's very impressive that with only 2 million people we have many great athletes in all sports and potential Olympic medalists. So I'm beyond grateful to represent Slovenia at this Olympic Games, and I wish you all a great event.
Thank you for both Olympic presentations, and we really keep our fingers crossed for Ms. Garmbret today. So the next presentation will be about Slovenian business ecosystem. It will be held by Mr. Rok Vodopivec, Senior Advisor at Spirit Slovenia. Rok, kindly welcome.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome and thank you for joining the event. I will try to be as short as possible as we all want to hear about the innovative solutions for green energy production and management from our guests. So allow me to show you why Slovenia has a competitive business ecosystem. First, Slovenia is strategically located at the intersection of European transport corridors. In comparison with North European ports like Hamburg and Rotterdam, your goods will arrive up to 8 days faster to a destination in Central and Eastern Europe. If you use the port of Koper in Slovenia, that includes also a significantly lower carbon footprint. As Slovenia is part of the European Union, you have easy market access to all EU markets with 500 million inhabitants. Slovenian business people also have excellent knowledge of markets in the DACH region, as well as of Southeastern European markets and beyond, for example, Russia. Slovenia is also land of hidden champions. Hidden champions are mostly small and medium-sized companies that are world or regional market leaders in certain specific areas in high-tech and niche technologies, and are not well known to the general public. According to data provided by the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Slovenia is ranking on the 6th place in the number of hidden champions per million inhabitants. Only Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Sweden in front of Slovenia, and Slovenia is also the first in the CE region. Slovenia has a highly capable and productive workforce with a high proportion of young people studying and researching at universities. With almost half of the students graduating in science and engineering, we have a good understanding of foreign languages, with 84% of the working population speaking at least one foreign language. Slovenia can also convince with the quality of life. We enjoy a high standard of living, ranking on 15th place on the Quality of Life Index in 2019. As already mentioned, we have an excellent education system that accompanies our people from kindergarten to university. Slovenia is also a very safe country, so we can, without worrying, enjoy an evening walk or weekend trip with our family, as well as a strong public healthcare system that proved successfully also during the pandemics. Slovenia is also an important R&D player in the region, with 2% of GDP allocated to research and development. According to the European Innovation Scoreboard, Slovenia is a strong to modest innovator and an innovative economy, considering the Bloomberg Innovation Index of 2020. I would like to point also to two world-class national research institutions, the National Institute of Chemistry and the Institute of Josef Stefan. Slovenia also offers a stimulating investing environment. It is the third least restrictive country among OECD members regarding openness for foreign direct investments. It is easy to register a company. Slovenia has a reliable and secure energy supply system. The corporate income tax rate is 19%, with the effective tax rate of slightly more than 13%. That is the tax rate that was actually paid by companies calculated by Ministry of Finance for 2017, considering all tax reliefs. While still far from a global giant, Slovenia has a long tradition of combining experience and knowledge with innovation, creative thinking, and care for the environment. That is why, under the message of green, creative, smart, Slovenia is emerging as a pioneer in environmentally friendly innovation and creativity, three key factors behind Slovenia's economic development and success. Presentation of companies as will follow will surely confirm this. Foreign investments in Slovenia are experiencing a steady growth over the last 10 years, and international companies that have already chosen Slovenia include Kansai Paint with its acquisition of Helios, Yaskava with a greenfield investment in a new smart factory for high-tech production of robots, Sumitomo Rubber with an investment in a new factory for elastomer components for pharmaceutical and medical industry, as well as Sumida, Daichen, Geberit, Danfoss, and many more. Let me conclude with a quick summary why to invest to Slovenia. Slovenia is a high-tech industrial country with an innovative economy. Slovenia is part of the European Union and Euro area. We have numerous foreign investments. Slovenia is an export-driven economy with an export share of 85% in the GDP. Main partners are Germany, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, and Southeast Europe. Slovenian business people have experience in selling to EU markets and beyond. We have a strategic position and good infrastructure, including Port of Koper, good educated and efficient labor force, long industrial manufacturing tradition, and a high quality of life. Last but not least, I would like to invite you to the Slovenian Pavilion at Expo Dubai, where from the 1st until the 5th October 2021, companies from the field of green energy and circular economy will present their practices for lowering CO2 emissions. If you have any questions, Spirit Slovenia is the contact point for investors and companies that look for partners in Slovenia. Thank you for your attention.
Rok, thank you very much for this introduction about Slovenian business ecosystem. In the next part of the webinar, we continue with the presentation of best Slovene high-tech companies, 4 companies and 1 project. So the first presentation will be by Bisol Group about the solar photovoltaics from the sunny side of the Alps. Bisol Group is a European manufacturer passionate about implementing the highest industry standards into top quality solar products since 2004. A complete range of solar solutions and services from Bisol can be found in more than 19 countries worldwide. The presentation will be held by Mr. Dag Kralj, member of the Bisol board. Mr. Kralj, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you for the attendees for giving us your precious time to be with us. I'm 52 and I gave up hope on being part of the Olympics, but this is a unique chance to, in a special way, participate also there. And to paraphrase a movie from the 90s, a cult Disney movie, I would say, I feel very Olympic today. So please allow me to share our story. Okay, so we entitled our presentation Solar PV from the Sunny Side of the Alps. As my predecessor said, we come from the heart of Europe. Slovenia is in the middle of Europe, as you can see at the bottom right corner in the map. And sun is in a way uniting us all. There's a slogan that describes Slovenia. It's one of the older slogans that we had, that we come from the sunny side of the Alps. And of course, For Japan, one of the better known slogans is the land of the rising sun. So we're just happy to point out that the sun is actually the unifying factor. Who is Bisol Group? It's a producer of solar PV modules, which are the key component of solar PV plants. We're in business since 2004, which in this industry is a very long time because 20 years ago it was a very niche or almost non-existing industry. We are offering, apart from the key component, also the turnkey solutions on solar PV investments, which gives us a very broad industry knowledge. In the last 5+ years, we've been running our production 24 hours, 7 days a week, despite increasing the capacity every year. And we create almost all our revenues, 97% or more globally, meaning that we are a globally competitive company. We have been recognized as a top brand on major EU solar PV markets, which speaks about clients' trust. Italy, Austria, Belgium, France, and of course Slovenia are just the latest from this year. We've been recognized as the top brand. There used to be a slogan that the sun never sets on British Empire. We paraphrased that and applied it to Bisol as well. This is the map of all the countries where we sell our products to. It's more than 90 countries on all the continents around the globe. Japan, of course, being also among them. So we can proudly say that sun always shines on Bisol modules. Why Bisol? Because all modules are not created equal, and delivering consistently and reliably top-performing products over almost 2 decades, it's something that you can count on when choosing our company. That is the result of meticulous choice of top-notch components, state-of-the-art technology. We heard before about Industry 4.0, 4.1, that we implement an innovative, experience-based, unique processes. Lower some photos from our production. Bisol PV modules. The modules are the heart of any solar PV plant. Our best seller is Bisol Duplex. It's innovative M6 half-cut cells, multi-bus bar technology, powers up to 380 or 455 watts. This is for the largest sizes. Full black design for aesthetic elegance. This is really a state-of-the-art, top-notch product that you can get today on the world markets. We pride ourselves also about world innovation that we introduced last spring, which is a Bisol Supreme, which is the first solar PV module in the world, where we guarantee 100% output, power output guarantee for 25 years. So what you pay today, we guarantee that for 25 years, even after 25 years, our product will not get below what you paid for today. This is an absolute world innovation. It's a result of extensive research, R&D that we do internally. Our internal lab tests show that the lifespan of such products is 70 years or more. Then the second thing that I would like to point out is aesthetics, which is Bisol Spectrum line of products. 100 years ago, you might remember Henry Ford, the famous car producer from the United States, said that you can have any color as long as it's black. Well, we applied that to solar PV modules as well, and basically are offering modules in different colors. Why would you only stick with blue or black? So these are the colored glass modules. They're perfect for the historical buildings, listed buildings, conservation areas, as well as for some very innovative architectural designs. So why not having your solar PV get incorporated in your overall design of the building where you're putting the solar PV? The second one is integrated solar PV. The PV is increasingly becoming an integrated part of our living environment. So it's moving from the faraway areas to our living environment, to the roofs of our houses or the industrial buildings. So it replaces conventional roofing. BIPV means building integrated photovoltaics, and it has the joint functionality of primary roofing and solar electricity production, the cost-efficient and aesthetic way. So why having a roof and installing solar PV on top of it? Why not combining the two in BIPV products? The next one that I would like to point out is the transparency in PV, which is our line of product, BISOL Lumina, which is solar PV modules with more transparency. Especially important is this for agrivoltaics, which is one of the more fastest growing subsegments of solar PV. The idea is to allow some light transmission while still generating solar electricity, bigger gaps between solar cells, transparent backsheet, and as I mentioned, suitable for open agriculturally cultivated areas, greenhouses, winter gardens, carports, and so on. Here are some of our photos of some of our references worldwide. Very large installation we did in Belarus, ground installation in Estonia, some more exotic destinations in Caribbean as well, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia. This is actually on an embassy in Saudi Arabia. Italy, this is one of the better known furniture producers. Kazakhstan on trackers. Czech Republic for their utility company, national utility company. This is a large installation from Slovenia. France, this is an example of agrivoltaics. As you see, you're letting some sun in, so you can still cultivate the food products beneath it, but still generating electricity. Carports, and actually an interesting design with the colored modules on a church in Holland. That's the cross is actually made from the solar PV modules. Some of our more prominent partners that trusted in BISOL so far, I'm sure these are the brands that you know as well in Japan: IKEA, Lidl, Aldi, Nestle, all the giants from the food industry. From the car industry, BMW, Volvo, Renault, Airbus for the planes, producing the planes, Novartis, pharmaceutical company, Siemens, surely you know it's a technological giant worldwide. Last but not least, NPC Incorporated is a Japanese company, which is a leader in laminators for solar PV industry. They sell their product to worldwide to practically all the solar PV module producers around the world. We're extremely proud and honored that on their production facility in Japan, on the roof of it, they chose to install BISOL modules. They could choose anybody they wanted. They decided BISOL is the one that they want to have on their roof. So thank you very much. It was a quick sprint through our offering, but I hope I managed to stimulate your appetite, and below are the contacts, and we would be glad that if we would get in touch if you had any interest. Thank you very much.
Mr. Král, thank you for the presentations and congratulations for all the successful projects. Before we continue, I would just like to mention to all the attendees, if you would like to post any questions for our speakers today, you can put them into the chat and we will try to answer them at the end of the event. The next presentation will be by the company Robotina. Robotina is a European company with 30 years of experience, employing over 50 experts in the development of smart technologies for the energy industry. Their main expertise is optimization of smart electrical grids. They have successfully implemented the projects in 25 countries and have more than 1 million connected points worldwide today. The presentation will be held by Mr. David Palčič, CEO and the president of Robotina Group. He was also the founder of Robotina 30 years ago. Mr. Palčič, kindly welcome.
Konnichiwa, everybody. Konnichiwa, everybody. Do you see my presentation? So my name is David Palčič, and I will introduce Robotina.
We don't see your presentation. You have to start sharing.
let me I'm trying to, okay. Share. Do you see my presentation now?
Yes, now it is okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Konnichiwa again. My name is David Palčić, and I will introduce Robotina. We are a technology company, and since 30 years, we are developing and producing state-of-the-art industrial-grade control systems. Today, I will focus on the energy management ecosystem, which is providing the base for digital transformation of the electric business, and which is helping all of us to improve the sustainability of our world. Why we need such a system? Why we need XEMS? Concept of our electric grids, it's about 130 years old. And at that time, the grid has been designed a simple one-way solution, starting from the generator, ending up in the consumer. Now we use generators like solar power plants at many points in the grid. And we have new type of consumers like air conditioning devices, like electric mobility. All this distributed solar power plants, energy storage, and electric mobility charging plants are putting the new requirements on our grid. This destabilizes the grid. This creates peaks in consumption and peaks in production. And these peaks do not come at the same time. You can see the two pictures here. One is the impact of solar, and one is the impact of electric vehicle charging. Now, grids must be stable to operate. And this stability has the cost. You would not believe, but 25% of the total energy cost is just spent for capacity, so for providing the stability. What we can do? We have two options. One, we can invest enormous investment, enormous capex into the new infrastructure and wait for 20 years. Or we can make our grids smarter through dynamic cooperation of all partners on the grid, which means we can do it through so-called demand modeling and forecasting. How? We connect local consumers first and producers, as you can see on the left side, to the XEMS controller. And then we connect this XEMS controllers to the platform. Controller can now control main producers and consumers in the building or in the factory or in the home. And we say it turns the consumers into prosumers, producers and consumers. Now these devices can then be connected to the platform, and platform actively aggregates all these devices and coordinates them to work synchronized and to provide the desired result. Let us see some practical examples. So if we put our controller in the home, we get the home energy management system. We connect the devices, and now we can benefit from it. First of all, the user will get awareness. So we understand the energy consumption and production. Then he can control from home, from tablet, phone, internet, optimize energy consumption and reduce his expenses, and he can shift consumption and benefit from the smart grid. So the next example is mobility. You know that mobility is increasing dramatically, electric mobility is increasing dramatically in the last years. And of course, it's also posing important challenges to the grid. Many times you will already control the home electric vehicle chargers directly from the home energy management system. But the home is not the only place where we need the electrical vehicle chargers. So we developed the mobility energy management system, which can connect any charger to the platform, and then all the chargers together can work as one coordinated system like this. So we connect the home here on the left side. We connect the various commercial chargers. We may have some local solar power plant to generate energy. We may have some local storage systems to store energy. And what we can do, the platform will get all this data and will limit the load dynamically. So you can create an electronic limiter, electronic fuse, and limit the load. You can use internal storage, and you can use internal solar power plants to shave the peaks and to optimize everything. And with the result, you get the optimal solution. Now, imagine that not only homes and mobilities are there. We also have, as I said, homes, we have buildings, we have factories, we have mobility. All these devices can be equipped with a small local controller, which will make the local things to be optimized, and can be connected to the cloud, which will model the demand and provide it through a communication interface to a grid company. Grid companies and energy providers can benefit from this in several ways. First of all, they will dramatically reduce the cost for stabilizing the grid. Second, they can dynamically limit the load in several sections. They can do the complete demand modeling and forecasting. They can trade with the flexibility, which means they will reduce their cost for providing the capacity, and they can enable inside the group energy trade. Now, with all this, we created a new energy ecosystem which can use the old infrastructure in the smart way. It is like you put different vehicles on the streets. On the old streets, you can bring the new cars. Same we are doing here. And with using the smart technology, we are improving, we are reducing dramatically the needs to invest. We are creating the new opportunities for the new business models. And of course, now, last but not the least, the most important, the platform. The platform communicates in real time with the controllers and allocates to them the various rights. And with this, it can dynamically online model the grid consumption. By this, the operator and the companies will get all the tools needed to really optimize the grids. Now, as the time is limited, I would like to finish here by saying that we are providing our solutions B2B. So we are working with our business partners to help them to implement their own business model on their grid through our technology. So we help the digital transformation of the electric business model to the different companies. And of course, we have a quite long experience working with Japanese companies, and we are happy to be here today with you. Arigato gozaimasu, and have a nice day.
Mr. Palcic, thank you for the presentation of very interesting projects and solutions that we will definitely be facing in the next years.
Thank you.
Our next presentation will be by the company Siapro about small hydropower plants. Siapro is a Slovene manufacturer of hydropower plants and water turbines for more than 25 years. The company provides innovative engineering services, consulting, designing, production, and implementation. They sell solutions worldwide, but mostly within Europe, Russia, Africa, and Asia. The presentation will be held by Mr. Mateusz Lesiak, Engineering Manager by Hydropower Plants Siapro Hydropower. Mateusz, welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So thank you for inviting me. My name is Mateusz Lesiak, and I work as a engineering manager in Siapro Hydropower company. So who are we? Siapro is a young, promising company established in the year 1993. It is privately owned. It has about 24 employees. Most of them are mechanical and electrical engineers. More than 50 partners and sub-suppliers we are cooperating with. We have long-term contracted partners with facilities of common production. The annual turnover is between 7 and 10 million US dollars. Until recently, the company has been active in the European, African, Asian area, and especially for the last 3 years, mainly in Japan. We have some related companies already in Japan, like CrowdGrid, Communal Hydro Energy, K+. But the business offices we are having in Slovenia and Austria, in Vienna as a branch office. But the final assembly workshop is in Slovenia, Mostna Sochi. So what our engineering do? We actually provide turnkey solutions, case studies, advising, project documentation, technical design, 3D and CFD simulations, so computer flow simulations, equipment supply, installation supervising, commissioning, maintenance and support. We also supply a project management, technical engineering, production management, service, logistic, management of equipment supply, and pre-assembly and shipment, because we would like to make sure that all equipment we produce is ready and safe for delivery to the final destination. So we would like to introduce our innovative product. It calls containerized small hydropower plant. We call it also a simplified power plants. You will see why actually. The key points of the containerized power plants are that they are a cost-effective solution. With this solution, we can also replace an expensive diesel-generated electricity supply with a cheaper system, so based on renewable water energy source. Especially suitable is for the third countries, as Africa, some parts of Asia, and South America. With such a solution, we could avoid the high investment cost of building the new conventional concrete-based new power stations. We can also ensure the integration into an existing water supply system of normal or potable water system as well. This is a more specific and unique engineering challenges requires. But overall, it's suitable for rural and urban environments. You can see the picture on the right side, how is the execution looks like. So in the container, we can fit the whole equipment of the small hydro power plant, so hydraulic turbine and control system. So in general, a few things that I'd like to mention, also that the units can be fully automated, so possible to remotely monitored and controlled from the distance, of course. It is a functional, safe and robust solution for a small hydropower plant with capacities mainly up to 200 kilowatt per unit. But it depends, of course, that customized units are available for power capacities up to about 1,000 kilowatts or 1 megawatt. In some cases, are even possible to produce higher power. It is optional low voltage connection to each customer or local power grid. The short delivery and installation time due to standardization and parametric design we have. There is no need for major on-site construction work. Overall reduces the cost of project engineering and customization. Once the unit is on site, the unit can be put in operation about 1 or 2 days. The other options that we actually produce is the option in standard shipping container are available in 10 feet size or 20 feet size, because they are based on the standard size for shipping containers. Overall, of course, depending on the power capacity, because they need to be adjusted based on the turbine size. Special isolated walls are available for outer noise reduction. Also, of course, air-conditioned interior space if needed. It's possible to upgrade them with solar power plants with solar panels for electricity production during the dry season with no water availability. So for the instance, over the summer, when there is no rain, we have actually other possibility to produce energy with photovoltaic system. These units are actually available with following turbines, the type of turbines like Francis, Pelton, and cross-flow turbines. Suitable are mainly in small rivers and streams. As showing up the usage possibility, what can implement are the water flows from let's say up to 600 liters per second on the head range between 3 and 100 meters, which they are. We can actually connect them to the existing or new penstocks. This is just another view. How does it look from outside? Other views. So we have on the left side the main view, but the right side showing the pipe connection. The one pipe is inlet, and the other pipe is actually the outlet flow of the turbine. How would that fit into the environment? We can actually see here a simplified view. So there is just a power plant in container, so that can be connected to existing distribution grid to supply the one, let's say one company or public grid. And there is a need of some simple penstock connection to some water intake and water wire. So this is a short presentation from us. Thank you for your attention.
Mr. Lisiak, thank you very much for the presentation and these great solutions how to get energy from the water.
Thank you.
Our next presentation will be about the project NEDO. It's a 3 years. We will make a change due to some technical stuff, so okay. Excuse me. So the presentation of 3-year Smart Grid and Smart Communities Demonstration Project NEDO, so Slovenian-Japanese partnership. The presentation will be held by Mr. Compare, electrical engineer specialized in information and communication technologies solutions for smart grids. Mr. Compare has been engaged in NEDO project from the very start as a consultant to NEDO and Hitachi. Mr. Compare, kindly welcome.
Konnichiwa and good afternoon to Japan. Let's start with our project, which has been called NEDO project in Slovenia. It has been financed by two entities. One is NEDO and the other one is ELES. And this project has a very long beard. It started in 2012 and it will end up in the end of this year. So the project is about smart grids and smart communities. And it's a demonstration project. It's not a full-blown deployment project yet, but let's go through it, what is inside. So NEDO is a Japanese organization. It reports to METI, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. It does technology development management, investing in, let's say, in the solutions which are 5 to 7 years before the general market acceptance. And then it deals with industry, university, and public research institutions. ELES is Slovenian transmission system operator, which is also included in the European Transmission System Operators Association, ENTSO-E, and is responsible for maintaining the quality and the interrupted supply to Slovenia, and is also responsible for the frequency regulation also of Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, which are neighboring countries to Slovenia. And ELES is maintaining the 400 kilovolt, 220 kilovolt, and 110 kilovolt systems in Slovenia. NEDO project is about looking at all the devices that we have in an electrical power system in a very systematic way, how to use, let's say, each element that you introduce in the network for multiple uses, not just by a single use. So use some advanced functionalities for the transmission system operator, for the distribution system operators, for urban communities, and how to manage the active power, reactive power, consumption, and how to use modern innovation, information and communication solutions. So if we just look at the quick facts of the NEDO project, it started the market research, it started in 2012 and it was done by 2015. Then the actual project officially started in 2016 and it will end by this year. It was mainly divided into phases because it was so complex and it was then easier to manage the complexities in the different phases, step by step. The value of the that the finances brought to the table was about 35 million euros. And over 30 partners have been involved in the project. So there were a lot of complexities in communicating and managing all the participants in the project. So if you look at the right-hand side picture, we see the two investors, ELES and NEDO. Then we have the next black box, blue box is management of the project, which is done by ELES. And Hitachi is the entrusted company to NEDO to actually carry out the project on the Japanese side. Then we have the third blue box is the execution of the project, which were mainly involved solution providers, manufacturers, research organizations, and also ELES and Hitachi were definitely very much involved, and NEDO as the supervisor of all the activities. And ELES was also responsible for this fourth blue box, the down picture, for the distribution companies and for the locations, how to deal with the communities, how to deal with these special solutions in the field. So a very simplistic system overview is here of the NEDO project. It is, of course, a cloud-based system, which is a novelty, let's say, for Slovenian distributions, how to do their control systems in a cloud. Of course, it's modular so that it can adapt to the needs, scalable to the growing needs, and also customizable to the different needs of different participants. So if we look at here on top right hand, we have distribution companies with their networks, and we are offering them this distribution management system, DMS, as a cloud service. And these cloud services are offering voltage control, fault location and service restoration, conservative voltage regulation, islanding of certain parts of networks, measures against voltage dips, and ancillary services like frequency control, secondary and tertiary frequency control. So this is for the distribution, the benefits of the distribution companies. For the benefits of end users like homes or public buildings or factories, we are also providing advanced energy management system as a cloud service. All these cloud services have been concentrated in a data center hosted by LS. And then, as you can remember from Mr. Palcic's explanation, there have been HEMS, home energy management systems, building energy management systems, factory management systems installed in certain locations. And also Mr. Palcic and Robotina were engaged in this project for the HEMS devices. So these functionalities were to optimize the power consumption and to also move the peaks of the power consumption. So if you look at from a different viewpoint, in the system overview, we said that whatever we install in distribution, and this was a condition from NEDO company, that everything that we installed was installed in the distribution company. We looked at the solutions and the functionalities that were giving also benefits to transmission system operator and to also, let's say, retailer aggregator, the other participants in the electrical energy markets. What we see on this slide is the main three goals of the project. We wanted to improve reliability of supply because we had in Slovenia some parts of the grid which were really very weak with the reliability, and people were having lots of blackouts. We wanted to decrease 10% of the peak load, and we want to lower the consumption of public buildings by 5%. These were the main goals, and what we see here, the pictures of people who were joining the project and helping it to make it a reality. And there were quite a number of people. I'm not sure that we have put all of them, but yeah, it was a lot of people and communication and coordination. So again, here we can see the map of Slovenia and what actually was installed: 3 DMS systems for 3 different distributions as a cloud service, 2 advanced energy management systems also as a cloud service, then 5 megawatts of battery storage, and so on, in different locations. So from a Slovenian point of view, this was some kind of a national project which was all over the Slovenia. It was not just paperwork, just somebody doing some calculations and doing some reports and preparing some nice let's say feasibility studies, but it was also field work. And you can see that there were a lot of people involved in the field work. Here on the right-hand side, we have people from Electrocelia. Here we have the team from Japan. Then we have the management team of the project. And then we have on the left-hand side, we have the people from the suppliers. So let's say for some installations, it took quite a number of people to get involved also in the, let's say, hard work. And our challenge at the beginning of the project was that our Slovenian engineers were looking quite puzzledly how to eat sushi with fork, and Japanese engineers looking at the sausage which was not cut and how to deal with it with sticks. So what we had, this is just a representation of the project, that we had some cultural problems that we had to learn to communicate. And in the end, of course, we found out how to cooperate together. And in the end, our engineers are quite able to eat sushi with sticks, and the Japanese engineers are able to use forks and knives on our Slovenian sausages. So as we are now in the Olympics and there is also heavy lifting going on, we can also say that we did some heavy lifting with our project. And by the International Smart Grid Action Network, ISGAN, which is a dependent of the International Energy Agency, awarded to the project Award of Excellence, winner of 2020 for its complexity and for its innovative solutions in the field of the electrical smart grids and smart communities. So thank you and arigato for your attention.
Mr. Compare, thank you for the presentation of this demonstration project, and congratulations that both sides, both countries found the common language for such an important project. Since you will not be able to be with us on the roundtable, I just have one question for you regarding the future development of such demonstration project. Do you see the potential of collaborating among both countries? And do you see the potential in raising the investments in innovation on this in this field of development technologies?
Yes, thank you for the very important question. Yes, we are all the time, we are considering how this can be, let's say, going from small pilot project to a large scale deployment project. And with partners from, let's say, on our side that were business partners, and also on the Japanese side, like Hitachi company, there are a number of opportunities, a number of open ways how to do the business, and ALS and Hitachi are surely now in discussions how to do something more in Europe, as well as we have some discussions how to do more in Japan. So we know more the markets here, the Japanese companies more markets there, and we are trying to find, the solutions. Now, everybody has, let's say, standard solutions, and all the, let's say, the needs are there. So you need to find some niche solutions, and you need to have the possibility to do the massive production, mass deployment there. And this is also coming, let's say, from Japan coming, the companies are global. And in Slovenia, we are trying to do more with, let's say, with specific and technical solutions to find new waves. And with the European going with this Fit for 55, there is completely, let's say, going into the direction of zero carbon. And this is also for the whole world, and the automobile industry and the electrical transmission, generation and consumption, everything will change in the next 30 years. So enormous possibilities for cooperation.
Thank you very much for presenting the project and seeing the opportunities for the future.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have to leave you. Sayonara.
Okay, thank you for being with us. Our last presentation will be by the company Etrel, which is a leading manufacturer of interactive charging stations for electrical vehicles and provider of software as a service system platform for charging network management. They are facilitating sustainable e-mobility with partners in over 40 countries worldwide. As a leading research and development player in the smart grid industry, Etrel plays a key role in global trend setting. The presentation will be held by Mr. Rok Poteko, Head of Software Sales by Etrel. Rok, kindly welcome.
Hello, thank you, Anna, for this presentation. So, hi, also from my side. I'm Rok Poteko coming from Etrel, and who actually is Etrel? So Etrel is actually a backbone of a sustainable e-mobility business. And what does this mean? So we can take a look. So actually, Etrel is a leading provider of intelligent charging solutions. So we are purely focused into the e-mobility industry. The forward was already before about e-mobility mentioned by Mr. David from Robotina, and I will also follow up on this. So Etrel is actually focusing on the market with two core products. One is on the hardware side, our AC charging stations for charging of electric cars. And on the other side, on the software, we are basically one of the leading providers of the management platform of the charging stations on the market. We are on the market already for 14 years. We are since May also now part of a bigger group of Landis & Gyr. And since our beginning, we were actually also the pioneers in the development and implementation of interactive charging. So the interactive charging is the technology behind our charging stations. And I will say a couple of words more later on what actually interactive charging means. What we are also known about is that we have our own in-house development of both charging stations and advanced software solutions for charge point management. Like I mentioned before, we are on the market with two core products, with the hardware and on the software. And on the top line, on the hardware side, you can see that through our history, we already manufactured quite a lot of different generations of charging stations. And on the software side, also here, our experience is very good because since 2015, we are offering a cloud-based solutions to the market. And this means that basically our partners are able to manage and create their charging station assets and networks. And on top of this, create their business cases different from offering the EV charging to their EV drivers, and also, let's say, helping to stabilize the grid because the electric cars are huge consumers in the grid. And what actually interactive charging is, so the technology behind our charging portfolio. What we are saying that electric vehicles are not eco-friendly by themselves. So they are such, let's say, they are as green as the energy it's charged them. And here on the right side, you can see basically that this dynamic chart is quite usual effect of each charging session when ethereal technology is used. So our chargers are not, let's say, dump chargers where we only configure the max power and it is charging in a straight line until the car is fully charged. But basically, our chargers are interacting with different, let's say, different actors. And the technology of interactive charging is basically maintaining a balance between vehicle, because vehicle needs to be first plugged in for the charging, let's say, optimization can begin, the user. So how do we interact with the user? Every charging station can basically learn the pattern and behavior of each user, and based on this pattern adapts the charging session and, let's say, the charging optimization. Why this is important? Because usually, let's say, if we are looking at home charging or workplace charging, where the majority of charging session will be completed, basically users and EV drivers are staying there for multiple hours or longer hours. At home, even, let's say, during the night for 10, 12 hours. So it is not, let's say, needed to recharge the car exactly when the user plugs in the car, but it is better to optimize it in a smart way. And this means that whenever this user will connect the cable to the charger will automatically detect the user and accordingly check the past behavior of the user and adapt the charging behavior based on the different let's say, optimization methods. And of course, those are also cost optimization, because we know that energy prices are also varying during the day and during the night. So if the energy price is cheaper during the night, the charger will try to push as much charging into the low tariff period. Then the second, or let's say the next optimization methods or interacting actor is also a building. Because, or we can also say a location, because every location is limited with the power. So it means an EV charger at home, it means let's say, as big consumer as all the devices that are already at home. So this means a huge consumer. And if we allow to charge without any limitations or any, let's say, smart logic, it can become a problem to the home and to the grid. And here our charging technology can basically detect what is the current available power at home, and based on this adapts the charging behavior. So always looking to not exceed the maximum limit of the available power on the location. Then the next, let's say, interactiveness is with the local energy production. So like previously was mentioned also by the Bissol group, by Mr. Dak, is in case there is a local production on the location, we can also detect this if the energy is flowing, let's say if the energy surplus is returning back to the grid. If we detect this, this means that our chargers can increase the power for charging and utilize, let's say, the local production for charging of electric cars. And the last, let's say, interactiveness is with the grid, because here we jump in also with our software offering, is the cloud solution, where one of the modules is also interactiveness with the grid demands. This means that we can basically, the chargers can also be operated and managed based on the demand response by aggregating it with third-party actors such as DSOs or TNOs. So this is the technology behind both our hardware and software. And if we are looking about our hardware solutions, AC charging stations, we are manufacturing both all home charging stations for home installations, for, let's say, residential charging. We are offering fleet charging stations and also public charging stations. On the public charging station, we are also offering integrated contactless payment terminals. And for the chargers are very, let's say, smart, that enable different configuration. And this means that with the configuration itself, the charger basically tailors the appearance to the EV driver. So it can adapt to different business models based on our partners' approach to market. On the software side, what is the charge point management system? The charge point management system basically enables operation and management of large-scale networks of charging stations that are installed. This means hundreds, thousands, or 10,000s of charging stations. And this is not needed that these are ETREL chargers, because we are software agnostic on the hardware agnostic on the software side. This means that we can manage and control any charger that is compliant with the OCPP standard on the market, and OCPP standard is widespread across whole world already. And on the operator portal, different business models are also set up for offering the services to the EV drivers, and also creating different power management, let's say, features and functionalities. Apart from backend portal or operator portal where everything is configured and managed, we are also offering also white label applications through which our partners can offer and customize their application for the EV drivers, and accordingly also offer the charging services to the market. And as a last flavor is custom interfaces are also supported for our operators and partners. This means that they can offer their own business-to-business services to a smaller networks, let's say sub-CPO networks, and also fleet managers to manage the fleets on their infrastructure. And this can be performed with a single flexible tool that supports several charging scenarios. This is our product, ETREL Ocean, on the software side. It is very, very modular, so we can approach basically every partner that is operating the charging station network. It can be very adapted to the needs. It is also open with different APIs, and this is very important nowadays because it usually needs to be integrated with the third-party existing systems such as CRMs, SAP systems, and even for aggregation, like we mentioned before, for power management and potential demand response needs. And quickly about ETREL, let's say with the platform our partners are using, we are tracking more than 1.1 million of kilowatt hours delivered monthly through our ocean managed infrastructure. And this is actually translating into 1,600 times around the globe annually. And for 2023, we predict that there will already be more than 10 million of kilowatt hours delivered monthly with the ocean powered infrastructure. On the hardware side, we have sold already more than 20,000 interactive charging stations all around the world. And for 2023, we are planning also a rapid growth because we are planning to sell more than 100 charging stations until 2023. We are experience almost two-folded growth every year in terms of employees and in terms of revenue. Currently, we are 85 and we are going to be 100 by the end of the year. Who we are actually cooperating with is, these are leading e-mobility companies that are operating large scale of, let's say, network of charging stations. We are also, our most common clients are also electricity utility companies, oil and gas companies, automotive companies, and fleet charging service providers. What we were also known about is that we were very strong, and we still are in R&D projects as the leading expert on flexibility. And these are, let's say, a couple of our partners from electricity utilities, oil and gas companies, telco companies, and even OEMs around the world. We are present, majority of our presence is in Europe, but we are also present all around the world, and we are also extending our reach across the globe, not only in Europe, but also beyond. And yeah, we are laying grounds for a lasting e-mobility. So, and also thank you for taking this time for our presentation and giving you the word back to Anna.
Thank you very much for the presentation. There was one question in the chat for you that I would kindly ask you to answer. Now we continue in Olympic mode with our round table. So I would kindly ask all the speakers to put on their cameras. So Mr. Kral, Mr. Falcic, Mateusz Lisiak, and Rok Poteko, all the gentlemen will be presented in the round table. So just a few words about me. I'm CEO of Center of Energy Efficient Solutions, Sustainable Business Network Slovenia. We are really glad to be also part of this event. We connect 80 members from different fields, accelerating green transition in Slovenia. So this roundtable will have two sides. So one will be, first we will start with the sports ideas, our sport activities. So my question for all the gentlemen would be, what sports do you like most? Are you a type of individual athlete or a team athlete? And how do you incorporate sports culture into employee motivation? We would start with Mr. Kral, then Mr. Palcic, Lisiak, and then Rok Poteko. So please.
Thank you very much for your question. For me, it's been basketball, and it's not the result of last week's events and the hype that Slovenia is creating. But I've been a basketball player when I was young, not a professional one, but good enough to play against the original boy wonder, so to say, before Luka Doncic against the Dražen Petrovic, who was a very known player some 30 plus years ago. So for me, it's I'm definitely a team player and love basketball because of it. If it wasn't for COVID, I would certainly be now in Japan, in Saitama Arena, and awaiting eagerly tomorrow's event, for I haven't missed a game of a Slovenian national team on European Championships. For the last 15 years, I was always present at the wherever that was happening. As far as the effect on sport on the company that I'm representing, I guess it's two parts, you can say. One is that obviously it's the physical effect that doing sports, whatever it is, has on health. And I think the last year and a half of pandemic, that has even became more important than before. But then there's this other effect, which is sport as a promoter of the right attitudes, so to say. I spend a big part of my life studying and working abroad in Austria, Switzerland, UK, United States, and so on. And often when you would be applying for something, for a job, or even for the place at university, if you had any if candidate had any experience in sports, it was worth mentioning it, and for sure you would get a question about it. It's sports certainly promotes values that are very transferable to the real world, to the business world, which is dedication, commitment, sacrifice if you want, if you're talking the team sports, even more so, becoming part of the team, working long hours for long-term goals and so on. These are all the characteristics that are highly valued in business world as well. And when I'm on the other side of the table today, recruiting, I certainly look for such elements in the CVs of the candidates that want to join our company, and it always pays off having such experiences.
Thank you, Mr. Kral, for connecting the mind of sport with the mind of the business. Mr. Palčić.
Yeah, a very good question indeed. Thank you very much. So personally, of course, everybody in Slovenia plays basketball at some level, so we are all there at this moment. But I would emphasize skiing, tennis, and sailing. And if I want to compare to the company in which I work and which I established years ago, I think I would emphasize sailing. And why? Because, for sailing, you need individuals with extreme skills. So a good team is not enough. The individuals must really be good at what they are doing. On the other hand, the one who wins is team. So you need to be able to orchestrate this team in the perfect way. So sailing, and even more, in sailing, you have one external factor called wind. And we are talking about sustainability. So wind is first a sustainable factor. It's the same for everybody who sails the right direction. And this is exactly what we believe the future will be about. Choosing the right direction, picking the right wind, putting the good team together, combine experience, power, and have a little luck. So this is exactly where we believe we are going and where we will win.
Thank you. Thank you for the interpretation of the sailing and the wind with the sustainability future that we are facing. Mr. Lesiak?
Well, yes, from our side as well, we do consider sport as a very serious part of business as well, but not in making any profit. But this is just to replacing our time with the employees, to replacing our serious time while we are at the office or on site, to some fun time with actually playing basketball. We are again at the basketball. I would refer to what Mr. Kraus said before. This is just because we like to join all these two parts and having fun with basketball. I personally as well, I played a lot of basketball when I was younger. I've trained when I was at the primary school, but among them, of course, we also practicing at the gym or basket or bicycling, or skiing, but on the winter time. But that's a very important part of business as well, because you need to relax and have fun as well.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yes, it's important to be in good condition and be happy for good success also in business. And Mr. Poteka, the last word is yours.
Sure. So yeah, I also love sports. I'm also a bit addicted to sports. I'm a man of many hobbies. I really like football, beach volleyball, to golf, tennis, skiing, and hiking. So out from this, you can see that there is a mixture of individual sports and team sports. I actually love both. And let's say on a trail side, we believe in teamwork, where everyone basically needs to do their part, on a professional level, even when they need to, let's say, decide or accept individual decisions, because this is important to come to an amazing result at the end. And what we actually try for, let's say, also as a company, is that we are stronger together. So 1 + 1 = 3. And what we are also, let's say, trying for in the company in this last period is that goes also very well aligned with our slogan, which is moving people, energy, and ideas. This slogan actually speaks about our role in e-mobility, but we are also positioning this internally, because we are also arranging, let's say, and promote sports internally and organize activities. And I hope the COVID will not stop us.
Thank you. And you really have a good slogan. A little bit forgot. So moving
people, energy, and ideas.
And ideas. That's really very important. And now we come to our last round of the questions, which goes more to the business and sustainability side. So we are actually facing very turbulent times, climate crisis, energy crisis, health crisis, and also economic crisis. But of course, you are all producing the solutions that can be challenging this crisis. So my question would be, what is, so that in the manner that Europe actually set the goal to be first climate neutral country by 2050, and we have very high goals by 2030 to reduce emissions. My questions would be, what will be your vision for next 10 and 30 years? And what opportunity do you see in working with Japan? So, Mr. Král.
Yes, thank you. Our vision is to continue being at the forefront of creating developing the technology and creating the awareness and the regulation that will allow those technologies to be implemented. We've been doing that for the last 20 years, I believe successfully on a Slovenian as well as in the European Union level. And we are pleased that the European Union is setting such ambitious goals for 2030 and beyond. As for the company itself, we continue to strive to be recognized as innovative, to be recognized as reliable, to be recognized as somebody that has been there for a long time, has gone through good and bad times, and that you can count on being a business partner. In that sense, to the last part of your question, we absolutely know that solar PV is one of the technologies that will change our future, our view of the world, not just energy-wise, but generally. And we know that the industry is right. We know that we have the right product for, as I said in my presentation, we've been around for almost 20 years and competing everywhere around the world. It's just finding the right fit, finding the right partner that would share our philosophy, that would share our view of business locally in Japan. And we believe that this can be a success story. So if any of your attendees sees itself in these words, we'll be very, very happy to establish a contact and develop a business relationship.
Thank you very much. I would ask you also to put in the chat your contact. Mr. Palčič already did, so all of you could post your contacts in the chat. So Mr. Palčič, the word is yours.
Thank you. First of all, we believe that the technologies that we initiated or we started to develop years ago, and you see, from LS to NEDO to ETREL, we are talking, or to BISOL, we are talking the same language. So we are talking about technology activating the consumers and producers This is the technology that can save only in the OPEX $1 trillion a year in the worldwide. So we believe that the direction is absolutely right. And the greenest energy is the saved energy. You cannot produce the greener energy than the saved energy. So therefore, we believe the world will continue in that direction. And we are providing the state-of-the-art or beyond the state-of-the-art solutions to our partners. We are focused on helping the digital transformation of our partners. And so we are also looking into Japan. Japan, as we could learn today, it's a country which is far away, but from the mentality we can cooperate, and this we have proven in the last 20 years. It's 20 years we are cooperating with various Japanese companies, and we would like to increase and improve this cooperation, and we believe there can be a complementary match. You know, Robotina and Slovenia have the innovation potential and have the innovative products. On the other hand, Japan has corporations which have global reach. These two things can be combined and provide the best to the world, and we want to be a part of it.
Thank you very much, and we wish you to really get good connections.
Arigato gozaimasu again to everybody.
Yes, Mr. Lesiak.
Yes, for our goal for the next years, next coming decades, are to become a leading company of supplying the equipment for small hydropower plants. Including this, we would of course prefer a strategic partner to help us and to deploy on the Japanese market, and also of course to exchange high technology knowledge and experiences, mainly of course.
Thank you. Mr. Poteko.
Yeah, our vision for, let's say, for 2030 is to be the first choice of charging infrastructure and charging platform provider in several European countries, while for the rest of the world, we want to be among, let's say, top 5 providers. You mentioned, Anna, also 2050. 2050 is quite too far for us to set goals, especially given the fact how fast the technology is changing and what kind of innovations companies are bringing it to the market. So yeah, we don't have any answer to this. We will see how the industry will be moving, and of course we want to be in the front as the company, as the one of the companies as the front runners. And to be completely honest, I'm also a bit afraid what 2050 is bringing in terms of the technology. So we will see where we will land. But related also to your question regarding our cooperation with Japan, currently we are cooperating with a larger Japanese company with their, let's say, company business set in Europe. But we believe there are also opportunities for us working in Japan on, let's say, in the Japan market. So we are looking forward for different opportunities and yeah, new challenges.
Great vision, and we wish you all the best on your way to these goals. For the closing remarks, I inviting Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Anna Polak-Petric to speak about the event and the closing remarks. Anna, welcome.
Minasama, konnichiwa, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. It is a great honor and privilege to address you in the conclusion of this very interesting and very important webinar. I hope that it has met your expectations and that you learn more about Slovenia, our successful athletes, and also about our successful business. Allow me first to thank the agency Spirit, its director, Mr. Kostanjevec, and his team for joining forces with us in the organization of this event. I believe that we have chosen the right time for this event for two reasons. First, because Slovenian athletes are doing a great job at these Olympic Games and are becoming more and more popular in Japan. And secondly, because Olympic Games are the symbol of solidarity, friendship, and enhancing mutual cooperation. This is why I am very grateful to all panelists today. First, to the two famous Slovenian sport champions, Mr. Cerar and Mrs. Garnbret, for sharing their stories of friendship with Japan. And also to 5 directors and representatives of Slovenian champions in business for their presentations and ideas for further cooperation. Relations between Slovenia and Japan are in best shape ever, I have to say that, in all areas. Political ties are strong and growing, and with the assuming of the Slovenian EU presidency in July 2021, they are even stronger. Foreign Minister of Japan, Mr. Motegi, has just recently visited Slovenia and have confirmed this. Slovenia is also actively engaged and supports discussions about the EU involvement in the Indo-Pacific region, and we are strengthening the alliance with Japan also in this area, and I think this is very important. Economic cooperation with Japan is also extremely important for Slovenia. We share the same values when it comes to business. We appreciate diligent and highly educated workforce. We support innovative minds, and we respect the environment and labor rights. This is why Japan is set as a priority market for Slovenian economy since 2015. This is why Slovenia has attracted numerous Japanese investments. Let me just say that since 2013, the Japanese investments are 10 times bigger. And this is also why we have so many successful stories of collaboration between Slovenian and Japanese companies. And I'm so happy that today we have heard 5 Slovenian companies which are already in contact with Japanese market and are willing even to go further. The potentials to further strengthen the economic ties, I believe, are numerous. Let me mention just a few. Firstly, EU and Japan have just recently signed a new green alliance. Slovenian and European companies, as well as Japanese companies, will have many opportunities to jointly participate in green transition, in sustainable innovations, and reaching goals of carbon neutrality by 2050. Secondly, EU and Japan have also pledged to implement the so-called connectivity project. This means that European and Japanese companies will collaborate on third markets in order to promote stronger ties among people under the free market and democracy values. For Slovenian companies, Western Balkan area is surely in focus. And thirdly, Slovenia and Japan will celebrate its 30th anniversary of diplomatic relations in 2022. We envisage many important events and visits during this time, also promoting economic cooperation in many different fields. These days, Slovenia is gaining huge popularity in Japan. Of course, we have to thank our dear athletes for that. With their successes and sports results, they are gaining the hearts of many Japanese. And through this, many new contacts and stories of friendship will develop. The same is true for business. There are many successful stories of cooperation between Slovenian and Japanese companies, which not only produce good business results, but involve in true friendships and partnerships. And I wish that with this webinar, we have managed to produce more of such wonderful stories of collaboration. Be sure that the doors of the Embassy of Slovenia in Tokyo are always open to you if you have any questions or you want to connect to any of the Slovenian companies. In conclusion, allow me to thank also the Japan Institute for Overseas Investment, to JETRO and to Japan-Slovenia Business Council for supporting this event, and to the excellent moderator, Mrs. Anna Struna-Bregar, for her ability to manage this event despite severe technical problems at the outset, for which we, of course, apologize to you, dear participants. Please enjoy the rest of the Olympic Games. Many of you will envy me. I will go tomorrow to the basketball arena and I will cheer for Slovenia. I hope you will cheer for all our athletes, and we are also cheering for the Japanese athletes as well. Hopefully we meet in person soon. Thank you, hvala, and arigatou gozaimashita.
Ms. Ambassador, thank you very much for the valuable closing remarks and offering the opportunities to connect both countries. And really, we keep our fingers crossed for all the athletes that are still taking chances for the medals. And thank you again to the organizers, thank you to all attendees, and special thanks to all the speakers and the presenters that we were listening today. Arigatou gozaimasu.
My first experience of Slovenia was so much more than I expected. I had to come back. Now that I've been here a few times, I know this much. It might be small in size, but it's big in its achievements. Now I know it's green. And not only because forests cover more than half its land, but because everyone is working to protect the environment. From innovative pioneers in light aviation to greenhouses heated with geothermal water, while smart sensors control its production. And creators of self-sustainable zero-emission houses that are in complete sync with nature. Now I also know that it's creative. Not just because of its unique achievements in sustainable construction engineering, but also because it manufactures sports equipment for champions the world over. But Slovenia isn't just green or just creative. It's a fun-loving and free country where groundbreaking ideas come to life. And it's smart. Because Slovenia's know-how is used for automotive testing, and every single car in the world has at least one component made in Slovenia. And because it's one of the leading manufacturers of generic pharmaceuticals. Of course, Slovenia is already famous for its hospitality and locally grown food. And its engineers never stop working on cutting-edge automation. While its companies constantly push the barriers in technological innovation. And all because of its brilliant people, educated and reliable, multilingual and talented, who can improve the quality of your life or even help you reach the stars. Now I've been here, I know that Slovenia is a land of infinite potential with fantastic opportunities. Which one will you take? Slovenia, a land of infinite potential for your business. Make the most of it.